Hey guys, Andrew Baxter here. One of the highlights of our calendar here at Australian Investment Education is when the team and I get to go through and look at the nominations for our Traders of the Year. Often people think this is just about who's made money or a really positive story. This one is even more important to understand because, as you and I both know, success sometimes comes with a few setbacks. And this particular client's journey certainly had a good number of setbacks where his trading wasn't going down a good pathway. But the thing that he had was a team behind him, the guys here at Australian Investment Education. More importantly, he brought resilience to the equation. He was never giving up. He was going to work out how to do this and build his strategy to get the results that he was looking for. What kind of results are we talking about? This is someone that banked over 33% for the year 2024 against a backdrop where the average return from industry super was just 11.4%, a tripling of performance. It takes a lot of skill, a lot of courage to embrace change at any age in life, particularly as we get older. And this is a story of courage and rehab. There's a lot to take out of this interview. It was a great privilege to sit down in my boardroom here to present this year's award to this nominee. Make sure you take plenty of notes and see what you can glean from this interview. So as a retiree, you've got commercial property interests, I know from our conversation previously.
Yeah.
What prompted you to want to look at the stock market?
I've been in the stock market for 30 odd years, but it was always just buy the stocks and live off the dividends type thing. So dividends are really good, but then dividends are starting to come back down, and I wanted to make a few more dollars. Some of the stocks don't pay dividends, so by doing options you can collect more income through those stocks as well. And also when I call, the answers are there. You know, I can get the answers that I'm looking for. And you just around the corner, so you can pop in and see us and stuff like that. So
Right in on the bike.
yeah.
Indeed.
What was the turning point for you, Tony? Because I know you had a couple of patchy years and a bit of a rough start, and then more recently have been, ultra profitable.
Yeah.
You say following a process and building that plan. What was the turning point for you?
The actual turning point was talking to you guys, where we sat down for an hour, and you sort of explained to me that here's the tools, but you've got to work out how you're going to use the tools and how you're going to use them properly. Like, I didn't have a business plan. I had no rules. I had nothing. I was just trying to listen to that as if it's the holy grail and then just go ahead and trade it. And it doesn't work like that. So, and I played that video back with a recording 3 or 4 times just to learn what I was doing wrong. And then I just started going for it.
Let's talk about results, because at the end of the day, markets aren't a spectator sport. They're about being involved. And if we specifically were to run through your Pinnell for 2024, let's talk about that right now. So Mitch, give us the numbers.
So we've got 52,000 in banked profit, which is awesome, and a 33% net return, which was a very, very solid outperformance.
Well, that's against the backdrop of markets. So let's start firstly against other forms of investment, because you're a retiree, and a lot of people, the default option, the easy option, is to give their money to an investment manager to take their fees from it and maybe deliver average performance. So I think 2024, the average performance from the super industry was 11.4%. So effectively you tripled the performance of the super industry. So we turn back to performance, 33% against an industry super fund return of 11.4. And even when you look at the broader market and what the market's delivered, so for 24, what did we see out of the S&P?
S&P 500 did 25%, and you've done 33%. So an 8% outperformance, which is huge.
Yeah. And I did that slow because I was still didn't have 100% confidence in what I was doing, and I just had to play that slow. So I didn't punt, the big dollars. So I'm very happy. From when I, after that conversation, then started to do it all myself, it got to about, that 12 months was actually 48%.
Wow.
So it just kept increasing.
Nice.
And a lot of that too was the TQQQ, like that strategy you put on me, because I was trading the NASDAQ and the NASDAQ chart was doing that. So TQQQ has to do that as well. So I really like that strategy.
Let's talk about the importance of coaching and mentoring for a moment. You referred a couple of times to the conversation we'd had. How important do you rate having ongoing support and mentoring?
100%. I definitely need it because you can just drift off and and think that you're better than the market. It's so good to have someone to call and just go through it, whether I'm right or wrong with what I'm coming up with. But if I come up with another strategy, at least I know I've got someone to talk to. And is it a good strategy? Am I being silly or stuff like that? So that's what I like about it.
I think that ability
it helps.
to sort of have other people in the sandpit with you going, okay, well, I get the development you've put in, but the flip side of that is it could do this to your performance. If you consider that is pretty important.
What about your stock selection process, Tony? Because I know that was a big shift for you in your model for trading. You really refined that and built a very rules-based approach with your criteria. Tell us a little bit more about it.
So I just started with that plan. Just find stocks that's long, find good stocks with all in the chart things, all the information that I fed into it, and it came back with those stocks, and those stocks just keep climbing. It started off a little bit slow at the start, but once I started making money and getting the confidence that I'm doing the right things, when the market dipped, I'd buy. I wasn't pushing the exit button. Once I started getting going with that, it's like on the button, trying, something's going wrong, I need to get out, and you go, no, swap the keys over, buy instead of selling.
Isn't it interesting? I mean, that is the opposite of conventional wisdom, which is perhaps why so many people are broke, is because they're following that herd rather than learning the discipline and the skills to be unemotional and to not panic and to have the belief in the work and the skills that they've acquired.
If you study the company, you get the confidence in the company, and you know that if it does dip, it's going to bounce back again.
Tony, tell us a little bit about how you segment your time, because this level of research, I guess, probably sounds quite complicated to a lot of people on the surface, but you've been able to automate this to fairly minimal commitment as far as I understand.
AI gave me how to do it all type thing, but I couldn't, I'd forget a lot of things. So like doing a business plan, you do a business plan, but writing the stuff down all the time takes time. And if you want to change something or something happens, it's a little bit harder. By building a program, you can do it automatically on the program and then get it all to change. So it just saves you a lot of time, and you can update it weekly. I update it every Monday morning.
And you're not someone with a computer science degree either, right?
No, but I enjoy it because I can see the results. Once you start seeing the results, it makes it, you get excited about it.
For sure. In terms of the support and services that we've provided you through Australian Investment Education, how would you rate those services on a scale of 1 to 10?
At the moment, I give it a 10 because I didn't come to you earlier for help. And when I did come to, because you don't know what I'm actually doing. So once I've come to you for help, I get all the help I need. And that's a big thing. Otherwise, I would have crashed. I would have been still doing the stupid things I was doing because I had no one to talk to. And I think by talking to someone gives you confidence, especially from experts,
What would you say to someone that was thinking about starting in the world of investing in relation to the services that we provide here at Australian Investment Education?
You've got to try it. You've got to go and talk to you guys, call you, let them explain to you, or you explain to them, what all your services are. And if you like those services, you just got to go for it because the information is there. You just got to learn how to use the information. And I did. So.
Well, and the results speak for themselves.
That's the proof, isn't it?
So Tony, $52,000 of banked profit in 2024, 33% return. What's on the horizon for 2025?
I'm not going to push it. I'm just going to keep sticking to the plan and hopefully do exactly the same or more, depending on what the market does. But if the market changes a bit, I can just change the strategies. So I'm sort of learning different strategies on the side in case there is a dip in the market.
I think today, for me, when we sat and went through the nominations for Trader of the Year for 2024, some of the big signposts for me, when someone's had a really good tailwind right from day one, it's like, I guess it's like in life, you get born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you go to a good school, the job opportunities are there, and you're expected to touch down somewhere. When you've had to take an alternate route to that, so in your case, you hit the wall in terms of some difficulties with your trading. you had a really deep and meaningful conversation both with yourself and with us as a support team. You were able to regroup off the back of that. Yeah. And for me, a comeback story is one of the strongest testimonies to the character of a person. In your case, the resilience to turn things around, the desire to want to turn around, and the confidence and belief in yourself, which is restored. I find that as one of the biggest drivers for me personally as a coach and a mentor when I see those results in our clients. Yeah. What difference has that made to you personally in terms of your mindset, your relationship, your lifestyle?
It gave me a lot of confidence to keep going. Otherwise, I would have pulled the pin. And that's why I called you, because I didn't want to pull the pin. I wanted to keep going. And by doing that, gave me the confidence to build my own strategies, do it my way, use these tools. There's all the good tools, and put it all together my way of doing it. And that's what I've done. It gave me to keep going. And now making money gives me more confidence. I can take more trades, spend more on the shares and stuff like that. Yeah, so far, really good. I like it. I like to chat to you guys because I always pick up something little all the time, something different. Or if you guys come up with something different, give them a call, have a chat.
I think what's interesting as coaches, and obviously we get the privilege to work with tens of thousands of people. And the old saying is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah. And I think it's such a fulfilling thing from our side of the fence when we see clients such as yourself really pick this ball up and run with it hard and create a future that they can be proud of.
Yeah. And that's what if I can stick to the rules and don't guess, and the market stays what it's doing now, I'm hoping to just keep building and building and building. And I like it. I'm happy now because I'm making a few bucks, updating the program all the time. It makes it a lot easier to trade.
So with that in mind, it's with great pleasure that we get to recognise you and recognise your achievements as Australian Investment Education 2024 Trade of the Year. Tony Pinnell, Gold Coast. Congratulations, my friend. Great work and well done.
Thank you. Well done. And it's you guys that turned me around. So I'm more grateful for you guys to what you've done for me. It's just spot on.
And this is the key thing. Life is not a straight line to success. Sometimes there will be setbacks, but how you choose to deal with those setbacks is the difference between being successful and being frustrated. And as you've seen firsthand, Tony's approach mentally to reach for help when he needed it and to apply the advice he had has ensured that he set himself up with a financial pathway now that will continue to yield great results and ultimately give him the lifestyle that he truly deserves. Once again, on behalf of the whole team here at Australian Investment Education, please join me in congratulating our 2024 Australian Investment Education Trade of the Year Award to Mr. Tony Pinnell.